Hello, I'm Bob Wood, behavior analyst and founder of Talent Pros International. Over the past 30 years, I've worked with small and large corporations and as an entrepreneur building my own companies in manufacturing, distribution, design, and consulting. I've also been in the military for 10 years, going through West Point and my career as an Army officer and aviator. I have been recruited as an athlete and as a businessman, and have been on the recruiter side now for about 7 years, but in a very different way than most recruiters. I'm first a behavior analyst and a professional coach to businessmen and women. I've studied the science of how people think and make decisions, which is called the science of formal axiology. The way my recruiting process is unique is that we begin the recruiting process by understanding both the match that is required for the job and company and the match needed for an individual candidate. If there is not a great match on both sides, the relationship will not last or it will be plagued by problems. My personal story on recruiting and placement that influenced me the most was when I left the military. I was stationed in Hawaii and used a recruiter to place me in my first company. I went to a hiring conference on the mainland and had 18 interviews with 18 different companies in 2 days. After the first day, I got chewed out by my recruiter, who told me that I was not acting enthused enough in my interviews. The next day, I really poured it on, I guess, and got 7 interested companies who wanted to bring me in for a second interview. The problem was, I wasn't interested in any of those companies except one. The recruiter wanted me to go through the motions with the companies for interviewing experience, so companies I had no interest in flew me from Hawaii all over the country to bring me in for a second interview. Thank goodness my number one company was one of them, so I ended up getting my highest offer from them, but the others were a waste of time and money for myself and the companies. I was left with a lot of resentment for that recruiting process, even though I got my first choice. The irony, though, was that I left that company my first year because geographically it was a poor fit. I'm from Southern California and we just moved from Hawaii, and my field sales position was in Michigan, which didn't work out well for my family with a new baby and a cold, snowy Michigan winter. The whole learning experience, though, was my main motivation for learning and applying the science of how people think and make decisions to the recruiting business. After 10 years working for another company, I moved my family back to Hawaii to start a business helping military men and women stationed in Hawaii transition from the military to business like I did, through an improved process of identifying and matching their natural behaviors, values, and talents with their next career in business. I've never been a believer in the shotgun approach to recruiting and placement. Through my own experience being recruited, and now as a recruiter myself, doing it a very different way, I have learned that a good match is very rarely found randomly bringing candidates and companies together at hiring conferences or by headhunting people from competitor companies. There are online communication tools and technology available today that will bring ideal candidates to you without having to search for them, and then qualify them before even talking to them using online assessment tools that measure the exact characteristics you're looking for in your ideal candidate. We use these tools in our full-service recruiting company to attract and evaluate highly qualified candidates to match behaviorally the ideal benchmark candidate for our client companies. We very rarely search out candidates like conventional headhunters, and we only pursue candidates who are a behavioral match for the position, management style, and company culture. So what you get is a highly qualified list of candidates that match the required characteristics of the job and company, who generally live locally and do not require relocation, and who you know are a good fit because you have verifiable data about how they think, behave, and are motivated. Your job in the interview is to verify everything presented to you about your top candidates in their resume and in the assessment data. We assist you by giving you tailored interview questions to ask each candidate, and we tell you what to look for in their responses. We also script conversations you should have with their references. We are so confident in our recruiting process that we guarantee employment of any candidate you hire through us for a full year, or we replace them for free. Now, because our recruiting process is pretty automated and does not require a lot of time and effort, we will train you step by step to do exactly what we do in our full service program and give you full access to all the online tools we use. We call this our in-house recruiter kit, and it comes at a fraction of the cost of our full service recruiting or any outside recruiter fees. As you probably know, doing the recruiting in-house on your own, if you do it correctly per our in-house training program, will save you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on how many people you hire, compared to paying outside recruiter fees. We give you access to your own web-based company dashboard to administer behavioral surveys to your own employees and to invite candidates by email to take your assessment as the first step in their evaluation process. The same dashboard allows you to store and compare candidates for hire against each other and against the ideal profile for the job. It is an amazing system and will bring quality and consistency to any recruiting program, whether you have good people and systems in place now or whether you're just starting out. If either our full service recruiting or in-house recruiter training is not for you, I recommend you at least take a look at our 10-minute online assessment tool before you hire anyone, whether the candidate comes to you from a staffing agency, a recruiter, or from your own Craigslist ad. Personally, I would never make a costly investment like hiring and training a new employee without fully understanding their behaviors, motivations, and talents, which is all possible through the science of formal axiology in a simple online tool that shows you graphically how your candidates think and make decisions and gives you a list of 78 talents ranked from their greatest strength to their weaknesses. If you would like to discuss your staffing and recruiting circumstances with us and learn more about any of the levels of our recruiting services, we offer a free recruiting strategy session by clicking the appropriate link below. All of our products and services have a no-risk, money-back satisfaction guarantee. And as I said, our full service recruiting will have a full year replacement guarantee. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to hear from you by calling or clicking on one of the links below. We are Talent Pros International, helping you to recruit and develop leaders of character.